Wherever I go, wherever I see, I remember you, if you remember me.
Guys, welcome to 7 minute study. In the previous video I thought I could cover the software myths in the in the same video itself, but right now I think that was becoming too long, so I'm going to make this video so short as possible so that you can get a brief understanding about what basic software misconceptions exist. So the first kind of software myths are nothing but we can say misconceptions or assumptions which mislead to like difference in attitudes while solving problems for managers and technical people. So the basic old attitudes and habits are becoming difficult to be modified, so we need to consider them or actually reconsider them, and we need to design a product or software accordingly. So the basic kind of myths existing are three, which are management myths, customer myths, and the developer myths. So first I'm going to go with the management myths. Okay, so the first kind of management myths have some like basic myths, such as the first one would be, or the misconceptions such as the first one could be, the management might be thinking that we already have a book that is full, or book or some material that is full of standards and procedures for building software. We won't be needing any particular training to provide with to our employees, so that as everything is provided in those standard books or like documents. So that's not reality, right? It is not, it cannot be, it can never be really sufficient, such as sometimes it might not be complete. In some books we need some other books to be referring to, and sometimes we need the employees to be adaptable to certain requirements of the customers but that might not be provided in a single material itself, right? So the second kind of myth would be that we are getting late, or we are behind the schedule, so we need to add more programmers or developers to catch up. So actually that's not true, right? In some cases, if we add many developers, that might lead to some clumsiness or some misunderstandings between already working employees. So we have other kinds of myths, such as then if so sometimes the management may feel that if they lead, or if they decide to outsource the software project to certain other third party, then they can just relax and concentrate on building it by like just distributing it into components, into as components to other outsourcing companies. So actually the reality would be different. Like it might not be the same, it might not work out actually in all the cases. Like we don't know how really the other company is going to struggle for that. So we need to have some contradictions or some specifications in our mind before taking such steps. So the basic other customer myths which exist are that the customers might think that to give a project or a product order to a certain company, they might feel that a certain vague or brief description about the product is enough. But the reality is different, because their requirements, if I say I just need a doll, I whatever doll you give me is acceptable to me. I don't think that's right? Like that might not be correct always, because if I asked you to give me a doll, you would give me a Batman doll, but I like a Superman doll. So what would be happening there? There's a misunderstanding, right? And then I'd be again like telling the company which I gave the order to give me another doll or something, right? So that's not working out. So another myth is to have as the software is flexible, changing requirements can be easily accommodated. So that might not be real in all cases. Like impact of change varies with time and technological development. So sometimes they might not be having certain tools possible with them, but after a certain time they can do that according to requirements, but you may fail to understand them and you give them a little less rating, so it's going to affect the company's performance, right? So then we have the practitioner myths or the developer myths. So the first kind of myth would be, once we write the program and get into the work, our job is done. This might be the basic ideology of developers or practitioners, right? But that is not right always. Not actually always. It's not right. in any way. So like 60% or 80% of effort is put after the product is being deployed to the customer. That's where the customer service comes into the picture, and then we need to modify our product based on the customer requirements, and again deploy it in a formal manner. So then until the practitioner might think that until I get the program running perfectly, there's no way of assessing its quality. So it's not correct always, because we have unit testing and other properties where we can equally check each component and then proceed towards the whole product development, or the whole like software development. There's no need to wait till entire software has been developed. And then the basic myth which exists is that the only deliverable the only deliverable product or the thing is to be software, or the working program. So that's not true, because the customer might not be aware of everything you are providing them, because customer experience is very important in your software, because there's no meaning to your software if it's very hard to be working with. So in order to make it easy, you provide some guidance, rules, or documentation provided. Let's say you bought a phone, you have many software, so much software in it. So the customer, in order to make it easier or customer friendly, you put in some documentation, right? That's what it basically means. And myth, the last and final myth would be that software engineering makes use of makes us create a useless documentation, increasing time taken and efforts exerted. They might feel the same, but actually documentation always ensures quality and improves customer experience, because the quality depends on the customer experience basically. If the customer experience is good, the quality is good automatically. So to make that enhanced, you need to have good documentation. Thanks for watching the video.